Okay, so hello and welcome. We are doing a quick crash course on the arithmetic of integers, right? So arithmetic deals with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and addition. So when I speak about arithmetic of integers, I'm talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and addition of integers. Now, simply put, what are integers? Well, the integers is represented by the set called z, right? Which you can write like such, or we can put a double line there. So the integers is a set of all numbers that look like such, from -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and so on. Okay, so our particular interest today, what we are looking at now, is we want to consider what is the arithmetic of integers. Today I'm going to start off with an assumption that you already have some kind of idea of where you've seen negative numbers. It's just a very convenient reference system for us. For example, when we talk about the weather and we speak about negative numbers here, then we'll say it's below freezing point or below 0 degrees Celsius. If we talk about a negative balance on your bank account, it would mean that you owe the bank money. So the idea here is it's a system that makes our life in accounting and also understanding the world around us a lot easier. If there's something else I must mention about integers, firstly, integers are not counting numbers. For example, a person cannot have -10 cows or -10 dogs or -10 cats, right? Right, so that's the one thing. Then secondly, if we talk about integers and how they look on the number line, let's take a line and let's draw a line like such. Okay, there's a number line. Okay, and I'm going to put that down, that down, that down there, that down there, and you should be writing down this as well. You should be taking down notes as I take down notes, and then you know you want to engrave a neural pattern. Okay, so this is going to be my 0 mark. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that is 5. This is -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Let's just assume that those are all evenly spaced intervals over there. Okay, so the very first thing I want to tell you here is that 0 is also part of the integers, 1 to 3 is part of the integers, -1, -2, -3, and so on and on and on are all parts of the integers. Now, let's talk about adding numbers. Whenever you add numbers, you move to the right, right? Whenever you add, you start somewhere, you move to the right. So we start somewhere, when we add, we want to move to the right. Okay, so if I give you a number and I say 2 plus 3, you will tell me the answer is really 5. And how do we look at this? Well, look carefully. If I start here, if I read this as such, I can say this means start here, right? And any number that doesn't have a sign in front of it, that number is assumed to be positive. Start here, that is going to tell me to move right, to move to the right, and then this is going to tell me how many units, right? I've got to start at +2, I've got to move to the right, and then I've got to move a total of 3 units. Okay, so let's do that. If I start there, I'm going to start at +2, right? And I'm going to move to the right 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And then I see that there is my result. Okay, so remember addition works like this. Addition, when we're dealing with positive numbers or negative numbers, we are just essentially moving to the right on the number line. Then, if I were to say -4 plus 3 equals, can you tell me what that number is going to be? Well, we apply the same principle. We are going to start here, right? We are going to start there at -4, and then we are going to move right, and then we are going to move 3 units to the right. So let's do that. Let's start at -4. I'm going to start there, there's -4, and I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 units to the right. And if I move 3 units to the right, my result will be -1. Okay, so there's a basic idea of how we add integers, right? We start at a number, we move to the right, and we end up with something over there as a result. Now let me bring up a new page quickly and let's get another number line going. Draw this out, please. Okay. And let's just assume for argument's sake that all of those are evenly spaced. I'm going to start here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Okay, and so let us look at another number. Let's say we want to start subtracting things. Okay, so I'm going to say this is actually positive 3 minus 2. Now that's just the normal 3 minus 2, and if I say that's the normal 3 minus 2, it's going to be 1. But again, this means start here, move left now, move to the left, and we're going to do it with 2 units. So let's start with that. Let's start with positive 3. I'm going to start here, I'm going to move to the left, which is this direction, that way, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, oops, I've got to move 2 units, 1, 2 units, and that's my result. Okay, so the answer there is 1. So here you can clearly see when we want to subtract numbers, right, we're going to move to the left. Now, if I were to look at this again and I want to take another example, I'm going to say, what about 2, positive 2 minus 5? And again, that means I start at positive 2, I move left, right? I'm going to move to the left 5 units. So let's see what that means. I start at positive 2, I'm going to move left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Can you tell me what the answer is? The answer is, of course, negative 3. That's my result. Okay, the next part, what I want to do now is I want to give you a shortcut at looking at how to add integers. Adding integers. And the way we want to do this now is we don't really want to look at the number line for every single thing that we want to do here, but we want to say, what is positive 5 plus positive 4? Well, the answer is just, it's 5 plus 4, and that's equal to 9. Okay, it's 5 plus 4, and that is equal to 9. What about this? Negative 5 plus negative 4. Well, when I'm adding integers and they've got the same sign, all I need to do is I just need to add them, right? And the answer there is it's going to be 9, but both of them are negative. So if I had to look at this, I would be saying that this is really start at negative 5, move to the left 4 times, and then I'm going to end up on the number line with negative 9. Okay, so just an aside, we'll come back to this in a moment. I want to talk about multiplying integers. Right, when we multiply integers, all you need to know is when the signs are different, the answer will be negative. Same signs means a positive result, right? And different signs means you're going to get something called a negative result. Okay, one example of this is if I have to multiply 4 multiplied by 3, the answer is just going to be 12. And that's positive 4 multiplied by positive 3. I can also write that as such, positive 4 multiplied by positive 3. And that's equal to 12. Similarly, another example over there is, what about negative 4 multiplied by negative 3? The answer is also 12. Right? Negative 4 multiplied by negative 3, the answer is going to be positive 12. Now, one of the rules is if I have let's make this multiplication. When I multiply a positive with a positive, the result will give me a positive. When I multiply a negative and a negative, I'm also going to get a positive. And when I multiply different signs, for example, let's again do this here, I multiply a negative and a positive, then my result is going to be negative. And if I multiply a positive and a negative, it's still going to be negative because the order here does not matter. Okay, so let's look at this here. I'm going to give you an example where I say, let's multiply negative 4 multiplied by positive 3. Well, all you need to do is you just need to start off by multiplying out the signs. If I multiply the negative and the positive, I'm going to get a negative, and if I multiply 4 by 3, I'm going to get 12. Let's take another example. Why don't you give me a number? Well, what about positive 6 multiplied by negative 4, and that's going to give me positive times a negative gives me negative, and 6 times 4 is going to give me 24. Okay, so let's look at a few more examples of multiplying integers. Let's make it 4 and 11, and make that positive, make this positive, right? And let's take another number, let's make it positive 12 multiplied by negative 12. And then let's take another one. I expect you to do them in the meantime. Negative 11 multiplied by negative 11. Okay, and then finally one more. Let's take negative 6 multiplied by positive 8. Okay, in each of these cases, what I want you to do first is I want you to multiply out the signs. A positive multiplied by a positive, if we go one back, we can see a positive multiplied by a positive gives us a positive. So when we have the same signs and we multiply them, positive times positive, that's going to give me a positive. And then 4 times 11 is going to give me 44. Okay, a positive multiplied by a negative, that's going to give me a negative. And 12 multiplied by 12 is 144. And then if we look over here, a negative multiplied by a negative, if I go back, when I multiply things with the same sign, the result is going to be positive. So negative times a negative is positive, and 11 times 11 is going to be 121. Then over here, a negative times a positive, what does that give me? Well, different signs means I'm going to get negative, and 6 multiplied by 8 is going to be 48. Okay, so there we've got a basic introduction into multiplying integers, right? And we've also seen a basic introduction of adding integers. When we add integers that have the same sign, we keep the sign and we just add them. For example, negative 5 and negative 4, I just add them and I get negative 9. I just add the 4 and the 5 and I keep the sign. Okay, multiplying integers, when the signs are the same and I multiply them, and we get a positive result. When the signs are different and I multiply them, we get a negative result. Okay, and there we go. In the next video, I'll continue with adding and subtracting integers in more detail.